Okay, this might be the last CS2 skins guide you're ever gonna need to watch. You might have played CS for thousands of years, reached global elite, became the #1 Faceit player, knifed Donk, and then finally Donk Simple, whatever that means. But do you know for sure what doppler phases are? Float numbers? Contraband skins? All those words don't even sound like CS, do they? By the end of this video, you'll probably be able to call yourself something of a skin scientist, or have a complete guide on how to properly sue Valve for sport. Skinverse has got you covered, let's kick it off. First up, what are skins? Well, this one's pretty easy. That's basically what your items in the game look like. In our particular case, these items are guns, knives, and gloves. It will not affect the gameplay whatsoever, but they look absolutely cool. Well, not all of them.
Brother, what's that, brother? What's that?
And they make it pretty darn convenient for you to flex if you're ever in need of stroking your ego. So, if you buy arguably the most expensive AK-47, case-hardened, factory new, you will not suddenly become a clutch master. You're probably gonna need to put in thousands of hours grinding away, and even that will not help you. Who are we kidding? I'm sorry. How do we get skins? There are several ways you can do that. Open cases, good luck with that, wait for weekly drops, or get them through Operation Rewards. Or just check out our previous video about how to get free CS skins. Let's dive deep into the nitty-gritty details of the skin world, or the skinverse if you will. There's a lot of factors that affect the looks and the overall price of the skin. That's straight up science. For real. Each skin comes with a specific rarity tier attached to it. There are 8 tiers with not so convenient naming. Mil-spec? Covert? What in Zyvu's name is that? I believe Valve is aware of the confusion, so there are more or less understandable colors associated with each tier. Thanks for that, I suppose. Consumer grade, gray-white. Industrial grade, light blue. Mil-spec blue. Restricted purple. Classified pink. Covert red. Contraband yellow. As you can see, it's pretty straightforward. No, who am I kidding? It's a freaking mess. Let's see some of the rarest skins possible. First up, the legendary AWP Dragon Lore. About 6,000 Dragon Lores exist, and only around 100 of them are souvenir ones. This rarity might cost you from $30,000 to $300,000. And I cannot skip the next one, M4A4 Howl. The skin with one of the most interesting stories, and I'll tell you why. You might also be wondering, what the hell is contraband rarity? There's a high chance that you haven't seen it anywhere. The reason being that there's only one skin that belongs to this category, our beloved M4A4 Howl. The artwork initially submitted to Valve turned out to be quite plagiarized. The original artist had a copyright dispute with Valve and won. Valve removed Howl from the cases, and you can get it from trade-ups, and the skin itself got a redesign. And that's how it became a contraband, the special rarity tier for skins that might be cancelled for unexpected reasons. I've just come up with a trick that is not quite legal, so I don't recommend doing it. Frankly, I don't think it's possible anyway, so the trick is, you become a really good artist, submit an artwork to Valve, buy the skins with your artwork, and then, somehow, convince Valve it was a mistake, and they actually cannot use your artwork for only Monacy knows what reasons. You get a contraband on your hands. Profit. But this is not all you need to know when it comes to rarity and probability, and believe me, that's not as crazy as all the floats and exterior quality, so let's dive right in. Floats. What's that supposed to mean? You've probably seen this term getting thrown around as if it should make any sense. To put it simply, the float is a number that shows the quality of an item, ranging anywhere from 0 to 1. Or I would even call it purity, as the closer the number to 0, the newer, the purer it is. So at exactly 1, we'd get the dirtiest, the most battle-scarred gun. In other words, it's the worst quality you can imagine. Each quality category falls within a specific float range. Factory new, from just 0 to 0.07. Minimal wear, from 0.07 to 0.15. Field tested, 0.15 to 0.38. Well worn, from 0.38 to 0.45. Battle scarred, 0.45 to 1. Generally speaking, the better the quality category is, the more expensive the skin gets. So there's one peculiar life hack that might save your money next time you're looking to splash out on random skins. As I've already told you, each category has a range. It's not a singular number, and it might happen that you'll find a, let's say, field-tested AK-47 with 0.15 float value. It's so close to minimal wear category, a better one, without falling into that category. That might make your skin look better than others from that price range. Or here's a much more unfortunate case, where you'd get a well-worn Desert Eagle that is really close to battle-scarred exterior quality, but it's being sold as a well-worn, and it's priced accordingly. That happened to me. So watch out, don't get ripped off on my watch. Valve made it even more difficult for us. They capped float values for some of the skins within certain ranges. It means that these skins exist within a tighter range than usual. Like for example AK-47 Fire Serpent, which is capped between 0.06 and 0.76. It starts only from 0.06, so the factory new category is only a tiny fraction between 0.06 and 0.07. Extremely rare. And some skins like Doppler, Fade, and Tiger Tooth knives exist only within 0.0 and 0.08. You can't even get a shabby, well-worn knife like that at all. What a bummer. You might think that's it, right? We've barely scratched the surface. Every skin also has a pattern template. Think of it as a really big and beautiful canvas being applied to the parts of the gun. So each time only a tiny portion of a canvas is used in the weapon. And here comes another value, this time pattern ID, ranging from 0 to 1000. The important part is that there are two ways you can apply a skin pattern to a weapon. Either a permanent look, where each tiny little part of the weapon is being applied separately. Valve provides a detailed sheet with all the parts of the weapon you can apply your skin to. This way, each part of the skin remains the same. Or a more random style, where it's more of a spray paint job regardless of all the parts of your weapon. This way, you don't need the skin model sheet at all. Let's talk about the second part. Its randomness makes it a little bit more exciting for players, as you never know where and how your skin pattern is going to be applied. It's completely random and unpredictable, but the bottom line is, depending on what part of a gun and where exactly it lands within the pattern canvas, it can all actually drastically determine the price of the skin in some rare cases. The artists themselves can knowingly add some peculiar images or Easter eggs within the pattern, so that by chance some part of the weapon can have an awesome or a funny look. For instance, some of the bluer patterns, that is, you're getting the most bluish part of the canvas, get called blue gems within the community, and they are worth a lot. Can you guess how much some of the bluish case-hardened AK-47 cost? A fancy number, I'd say. Over $1 million. That's the most expensive public sale to date. Welcome, Pattern 661. The same goes for the Blue Gem Karambit, probably the most expensive skin in history, with a whopping 1.5 million sale. Well, actually that deal was cancelled because the owner said that the price was too low, so there was no deal. I promise you, we're getting there. In terms of the looks, there's only one tiny detail left, and thankfully it concerns only Doppler knives. It's called phase. And I'm not talking about FaZe Clan actually. Phase determines the share of the blue and red parts of the finish. Basically, the phase is responsible for how much of a blue or red the Doppler knife has. Unless you're buying this particular knife, you don't really need to care too much about it. Okay, one last thing and we're calling it a day. They're souvenir skins that are only obtainable through special souvenir packages devoted to CS Major Championships. That's pretty much all you need to know. And they also come with a shiny gold stickers applied to them, so you don't forget where they came from. And who doesn't love stats? You can keep track of your kills if you buy a STATTRACK version of a skin. Simple as that, and I'm not talking about simple. Okay, I'm sorry, this one's a bit of a reach. Phew, that was just your average, everyday simple guide, right? I think we've covered all of the basics of CS skins to get you up and running. I mean, spraying and praying. I mean, whatever. But as the last bonus, I know you want it, I'd like to make things even spicier, and remind you that in the majority of cases and categories I've mentioned above, there's some outliers, unique exceptions, and Easter eggs. Like how some of the skin patterns look. Well, you get the idea. #909 Kami pattern 57. Or #125 hamster pattern for P2000 marbleized. Or #832 Tech9 cracked opal. The uniqueness and the overall sassiness make them of course pretty juicy and sought after. Or how some of the legendary skins like Dragonlore over time became even more special because the cobblestone map where the skin came from got discontinued. Well, all of those corner cases and notable exceptions deserved a video on its own. So be sure to like this one and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss out on our next one.